Good morning. Today's tutorial is on animating a sprite shape, which Unity does not allow us to do that because I think the animator can't access an array, and basically a sprite shape is just an array of points. So let's take a look at how I'm going to get this done. So first, let's just create our sprite shape and take a look at it. So here we have our sprite shape, and normally, so I'm just going to push this over here. So what I want to get done with this is that I've been handed a sequence for sort of a curtain close kind of wipe. And this is all a set of PNG files, which I really don't want to have to rely on a sequence of PNGs, especially full frame at full animation. I just want to keep it something that I can control more, and a sprite shape is easier for that. So here we can go and set up our sprite shape and our splines. I'm just going to put these on the outside. Let's say this is the bottom side of it and the top. So we got a shape kind of like that. Okay, this shape will not allow us to animate it, because even though I can grab the spline points, like I said, in the animation, we cannot access those spline points. In fact, if you look here, you can't even find where they are. Normally, if you create a polygon collider, you can see all the points. In this case, we can't see any of the points, and there is more details than just their positions. So to find that, let's go to debug mode and scroll down, and here we can see all the points for our shape. I know that the points I want are point 2 and point 3 for the top right and the bottom right. So these are the points here. And here are the tangents for them. I also know that on the top one, on element 2, I'm going to want the right tangent, which is this guy. And on the other one, I want the left tangent. So having that knowledge, when we normally go in here and let's go back to normal. When we go in here and we use this, these are just gizmos that they've created based on those points, which means we can create our own gizmos. I'm going to go and I'm going to say that create a point 2 and a point 3. Oops, here. Okay, so let's say that's point 2, that's point 3. These are going to be the positions of those control points. We also need a tangent point as well. So create empty. I should have actually created this before, but let's call it point 2 right tangent. Point 3. Like I said, this is the left tangent. Okay, and I'm making these all child points. Why do we need that? It's because if we go back to our debug mode, debug, right. So my shape is not centered. My shape's over here. And if we go and look at our tangent points, this position point, if I set that to 0, 0, we can see that goes to the center of the shape, which makes that, which is going to make that a local position. So I can't be using world coordinates for this. I have to be using local coordinates. Also, these tangent points, if I take this point here, sorry, if I take, let's go back to it, that point there, when I move this position, notice that the tangents don't move. That means that the tangents are childs of the main position, the main point. So I've got the tangent as a child of point 2 and point 2 as a child of shape. And we have to remember that we want to be using local positioning. All right, let's go back into here. And so we can't use an animator on the shape. I can add an animator on the shape, but the animator is going to be animating our own points. Oh, and our tangent points, let us do that. That would be him, and that would be you. All right. Right, so we can add an animator which will be animating these points here, but the animator is not going to be able to access the spline points. But we do need a script, and I've got a script prepared already. I'm not going to bother with animation, I'm just going to show it as a live update. What do we need? We need access to that controller. Spline. No. Sprite shape controller. And just got controller. And I'm not going to make complex arrays. I'm just going to do this very simply with a transform of the, let's call it 0.2, 0.3, 0.2 tangent, 0.3 tangent. Just reorganize this a bit. There we go. Okay, so what do we need in here? In here, we're going to access our controller. And we're going to access the spline. Sorry about that. And I want to do set position. And in here, we're going to take in the index, which I know this is 2. And I want the 0.2 dot position. Right. Remember what I was saying earlier, we need to grab the local position. Okay. So we've now got 2 and 3. That's good. Now we need to, on 2, I want to set the right tangent. So here we can just grab 0.2 right tangent and set left tangent and grab the 0.3 tangent, and that's it. Okay, so let's see how this is going to work now. Play. And it's not going to work. Rookie maneuver, I did not add anything in here. That's 0.2, that's 0.3. That's 0.2, that's 0.3. Now it'll work. Okay, so we can see that the positions have been snapped to these, and here's my tangent. Oh, this is, there's something wrong in the code. Oh, right. 2 and 3. Now it'll work. Okay, that works. Let's grab this, that works. Let's grab you, that works. So now I can control my shape, and these positions can be animated. Now if you just want things to look a little bit better, you can add this code in. So this is just drawing some gizmos, and it's just some lines and color them yellow, and I've recolored my shapes. So now it kind of just looks a little bit better, but it's not needed. It just looks cool. That's it. So that's how I would go about animating my sprite shapes, is that I've got to create my own array of points and animate those points, since I can't get access to the spline shape. So for this, let's just show that I can do that. So I'll add an animator and animation. Drag that over here. And I already have an, let me put that down here. I already have an animation for this and a controller. So Sprite shape. Right here we can see, if I go to my properties and I go into the controller, I can see colliders, enabling, let's see, spline details, geometry, yeah. So you can see that in there, there's no way to access those points. But down here, we can see here's my points. And I can animate position. Let's go back to here. And let's take that position. Who are you? You are this guy. And let's put the position over there. Okay, let's animate the tangent on it. So I want, nope, I want this, transform, position, and let's animate that tangent. Curtain closed. Oops, that should have been over here. Right, let's go and do the next point. Add position, and let's just add the tangent at the same time. Transform, hold on, find the right one. Yes, there we go. Okay, and let's grab him, move him over, and at the beginning I want to grab him, and I want to grab him like that. Okay, so that should be kind of what I want. Now if I play this, I can see that I now have an animated shape. So that's it. That's how you can take our sprite shape and actually have it animated with your own points. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.